Okay, Steph Curry's three-point record in context. Let's look at the first question here. In the year 2000, who held the record for most three-pointers in one season? This is a little tricky. You can find all four of these guys. You can go through and do process of elimination here. But there's sort of like an easier way to do it. It's asking who held the record in the year 2000, which means it's going to be the guy highest up on this list in the year 2000 or before. So it's not Steph Curry, who probably was 8 years old in the year 2000, but this was after 2000, so it's not him. It's not Klay Thompson. Ray Allen, who's on the list, was 2005, so he wasn't holding the record then. But we get over here to Dennis Scott. He's the highest up. So 1995-96, that means that in the year 2000, no one had beaten his record. No one beat his record until 2000 until Ray Allen did it in 2005. So the answer is going to be Dennis Scott A. How does color function in this graphic? Okay, so this is sort of interesting. You have this little color palette here, and the colors have to do with the years. If you look at this chart, this is sort of red, orange at the bottom, and it gets more and more blue, which kind of matches the direction of this color chart here. If you run the cursor over, you can see all of the things kind of happening at the bottom, and then as you go up the list, it's kind of like tendrils of a sea anemone kind of rising and rising and rising, which will get us to the next question. Sort of the main idea, one of the main ideas that you can take away from this is that people have gotten better at making three-point shots. Like back in the day in 79, 1980, that's when this three-point line came into existence. It explains in the text up here. This was like pretty good. So I looked up my childhood basketball idol. I was from Boston, so it's required that you are excited about Larry Bird. And Larry Bird did pretty well, but he's still down here somewhere. And over time, you'll see that the dates get higher and higher as the colors get more and more blue. So color sort of functions to help you understand that it's the number of the record holders have gone up and the averages have gone up. You can also sort of see Dennis Scott's green line here. He was in the 1990s. He's the highest green up here by the end of the season. All right, so two or three things you notice about this chart. The first thing I notice is Steph Curry, 402 three-pointers, which is more than 100 more than the next highest guy. And this, they say in the side here, it's the equivalent of hitting 103 home runs in Major League Baseball. If you're not a sports fan, maybe that doesn't mean anything. But this is like, you can just look at this chart. There's one line that's just so far above everybody else's. This is the thing that you notice first is that Steph Curry is like literally off the charts, which is why I couldn't turn this into like a graphic and just post it here because it wouldn't fit. Steph Curry is too high up here. Other things I noticed were the color changes that I just mentioned. The way that this graph works, it's always good to like be aware of how this graph works. So this line, the y-axis, is the number of three-pointers, and the x-axis is the games into the season. So like at the 30th game, here's the dude who had the most three-pointers. So it's going to be different for different players at different times, which is why you have this sort of like weird staircase effect, because they didn't make any three-pointers for a while, and they made a bunch of three-pointers, and then it goes up a little from each game, which is kind of an interesting way to do it. What's the main idea of this graphic? Well, it's the main idea is that Steph Curry's three-point record is off the charts, that it's crazy, much better than anyone else's. And two conclusions you can draw from the graphic. Well, one conclusion is that people have been getting better at taking three-pointers or making three-pointers. This isn't a three-point percentage chart. It doesn't tell you like how successful they are. It just tells you how many they've made. So maybe it just tells you that people have been attempting more of them or something. Three-pointers going in have gone up over time, that the trend is upwards. and that's really all that's about it.